you probably heard by now that these 6 police officers will no longer face any charges in the death of Freddie Gray. I had said online that this is going to create a big problem, and I'm hoping that the city of Baltimore is prepared for it. I guess that this basically is a confirmation that there is no accountability for police, no matter how egregious a crime they commit. Now, I wasn't there, and you probably weren't there, so we absolutely don't know to what level of accountability these 6 police officers should be held. But there's one thing I do know. Freddie Gray was injured when they put him into that police van, but he was still alive, he was still breathing, and he still had motor function. When they took him out of that van after the 4th stop, Freddie Gray no longer had motor function. He was still alive, but he was in serious condition. Basically, he was, for all intents and purposes, dead. Though when they got him to the hospital and they put him on machines and kept him alive for a couple of weeks, he was legally alive, but in all actuality, he was dead. And now these 6 police officers are going to walk away scot-free. So what does that say? I mean, it basically said that Freddie Gray was responsible for his own death. He was arrested illegally, as it turned out. But that information, though available, is not being pushed. There comes a point when a reckoning is demanded. And we are rapidly, if not already, beyond that line where a reckoning must be made. I came across another story that I'm probably going to do a video on, where a convicted felon, don't get me wrong, a convicted felon was killed by police. He was unarmed and he had his hands in the air. To that, there is no dispute. The district attorney and grand jury in that particular case could find no fault with police, even though they knew that the victim was unarmed, because they used the age-old adage that they were in fear for their lives. The city has 2 videos of that particular murder, one of which was taken by the police dash cams, the other by a private citizen. Both videos obviously show the same thing, that that gentleman had his hands in the air facing the police after he was ordered out of the police car, and the man feared for his life. See, the problem with that one was that he was a convicted felon who had already attempted a murder on police officers and had served his time. They were aware of who he was when they pulled the car over for the stop. They were aware of who he was when he got out of the car. And they were aware of who he was when they shot him with his hands up. So now you tell me, the state has settled with the family. His 2-year-old son will get $1.5 million when he turns 18. The mother of his child is going to get $200,000, and that victim's mother will receive approximately $70,000. All of that will occur if the federal judge in the case signs off on the settlement agreement. But the whole point of the matter is there is no criminal accountability for the actions of police. And again, you have to say that most police do their job, and they do it well, and they are law-abiding as well. If that were not the case, we would have absolute chaos, and there would be shootings in the streets, and a lot more attacks on police than there are now, and a lot more cases of self-defense against the police. But you're not really seeing that. But what you are seeing is a lack of accountability in darn near every case, even with video, that absolutely confirms the crime. They just are not being brought to justice. So I had tweeted out that I hope the mayor is prepared for the firestorm that's more than likely going to occur in Baltimore. I hope it doesn't, but when enough is enough and you feel like you have nothing to lose, then all options are open.